New day, new problem. So, you've been to Florida, you bought a lightsaber. But where on earth do you put it? Well, I think today we're going to make something to maybe mount it here. And that should do. Go with the rest of the strange memorabilia on this bookshelf. So, I think, next step, off to one shape, and we'll see what we can do to store this lightsaber. Let's go. Let's start off with creating a sketch. So the shelves are about 60 centimeters, 60 millimeters deep. So we'll start off with making the bracket that's going to go over those, I think. Now, maybe we'll do it as 60.5, just to give it a little bit of a little bit of space, and we'll start off making it 100 millimeters, so 10 centimeters deep. As always, like to make it nice and easy, so we use an offset. We'll create an outside offset. We don't need to make it very particularly thick. We'll do that as a 4 millimeter offset. Okay, so that's cool. Now let's turn this into a clip, because an oblong won't be any good. So we'll do that so we can get rid of this line. We don't need that line. We don't need that line. I don't think that we'll need to have this. So if we think about it, that'll be the top part that goes on top of the shelf. We don't need to go too far underneath the shelf, I don't think. So let's go along here about, yeah, we'll do that as kind of 30 millimeters, I think. There we go. And then we'll create the rest of the lines so we can get rid of the things we don't need then. Okay. Okay, so I think that looks good. So there we go. So it's overall it's 10 centimeters deep on the top. We've got 30 millimeter piece at the bottom. We've done it as a 60.5 high to clip over the shelf. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Right, so what we need to do now are creating the hooks that the lightsaber is going to fit on. So the hilt itself is it's probably the largest. Well, it's obviously the largest diameter piece on here, and that's 48 millimeters. So if let's do a construction line from the center. I'll do that as 25 millimeters, I think, as the hilt is 48 millimeters in diameter. So let's okay, so that's cool. So we'll have everything placed on this, and then when we create the smaller hook that holds the blade, we can still use that 25 millimeter, so everything's kind of concentric as we build it out. So let's create the circle on the end of that construction line, and we'll do that as 48 millimeters. Cool. And then I think the outside of the hook, we'll do that as probably 60. Will that be? Yeah. So that's 60 millimeters. Okay, that's cool. Now what we need to do is create another construction line, go across here, and we need to create the cutouts now for the so the lightsaber can drop into it. So we'll do another line now coming from the center. It's probably the easiest way to just bisect the circle, and do that at 25 millimeters, 25 degrees. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then we'll do a line from this point where they converge out. Okay, so what we'll do when we create this is only this part of the circle will be printed, so the lightsaber can drop into it. Now, because a lot of this, especially the actual clip that goes over the shelf, we're just going to replicate. So let's create another construction line here, and then we can mirror what we've already created, then modify that mirrored item for the blade. So there we go. That's done. So we've mirrored this. Now, obviously, this circle needs to be quite a bit smaller, so that's only 25 millimeters is the diameter of the blade. So I'll drop that down there. Oh, of course, it doesn't like it. Yeah. So this will be 25 millimeters. You can see that that'll be in line when it's slipped onto the shelf, and then we'll create the outside parts of that. I guess, yeah. And we'll create that as 35 millimeters. Okay, that's cool. Now, of course, this is just going to be floating in the middle of nowhere if we print it like this. So we need to create a little. We need to fill this span in here. So let's do it nice and easy. So we'll just do it to there. And we'll create what we'll do. We'll create a 10 millimeter. So 1 centimeter piece. So we'll do 5 millimeters there. Then we'll do another one that's 5 millimeters, and that'll mean then that the total, obviously, 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay, so that looks good. Now, yeah, I think we finished with that sketch. So let's extrude it and see what it looks like. I'll extrude it by. We don't want to have it too big, do we? How much do we do by? Let's do by 10 millimeters. Okay. Okay, so there we go. They look okay, but we need to make sure that we don't have stress points at these angles, and we also don't want these kind of sharp edges. So let's jump onto the fillet. I think for all these edges where we just kind of smooth them out, we'll just do these as 2 millimeters. That'll just mean that when you're handling, it will feel quite nice. So we'll do those 2 millimeters, and then we can do these as. It's not going to let us do that. So let's do this. Okay, it's 4 millimeters. I think we'll probably get away with doing this 4 millimeters under here as well, and here, and here, here, and there. There we go. So it's getting rid of those stress points, and then just smooth these off as well. Do these 2 millimeters. Okay, so they look pretty good. So I think now we'll just export these into. We'll export these from Onshape, and we'll import them into Bamboo Studio. Okay, so we're in Bamboo Studio, and let's get these hooks that we've created in Onshape and import them into Bamboo Studio. So we've got the one for the hilt, and there's the one for the blade. So we'll lie them flat. Probably the easiest way to print these, pretty straightforward. I think also probably want to do 2 of each. Okay, so let's select auto, arrange. There we go. I'll do. So we're using bamboo PLA in white, so nice and simple. We don't need any support, so we'll just I think we'll just slice it and send it over to the 3D printer. So it's going to take just over an hour with warm-up time. Okay, we'll do time lapse so you can see how it goes, and see you on the other side. Okay, so they're done. Let's see how they work. So they look okay. Let's put a couple on here then. So the hilt. Okay. And then yeah, it's okay. Put these on here. Put one next to SpongeBob. Yeah, SpongeBob. I think the final one maybe it'd probably be at the end, just under the coffee machine. So let's see if it fits. So will it go on? Oh, so there you go. So if you've been to Disney, you bought a lightsaber, but you have some Ikea bookshelves, put together this exact combination, this is how you can mount your lightsaber. Thanks very much. See you next time. Oh, and remember, like and subscribe. Bye.